On-the-scene coverage of ACC.13 is supported by Janssen Pharmaceuticals, Incorporated.
I'm Peter Block here in San Francisco at ACC.13. There's a lot of science going on, a lot of late-breaking trials, and we're bringing it to you today. I'm with Jessica Mega. Jessica is the person who lives in my old hometown in Boston. Jessica works at the Brigham and Women's, works with the Timmy folks. Jessica, welcome. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Champion Phoenix trial, Cangrelor, the downer drug. Two big trials that didn't work out, and now we have Champion Phoenix, like Phoenix from the ashes. Tell me what's going on.
There you go. Well, it is absolutely great to be here, and I think this trial addresses a very clinically relevant problem. Patients come to the cath lab with acute coronary syndromes, and we know that there's data for dual antiplatelet therapy. But when we administer the second agent, something like clopidogrel, prasugrel, or ticagrelor, we're not sure whether a patient's going to need to go on and have CABG surgery, for example. We also are not sure about absorption issues. And Cangrelor is a potent, short-acting intravenous agent that can antagonize platelets. So it really has the potential to change our management strategy.
Yeah, but we've had two trials now where Cangrelor sort of dudded out. Tell me about what that means and what this trial brings to us.
Absolutely. So we have to take this trial in context of the prior two trials. Importantly, in the prior two trials, the primary endpoint was neutral, but secondary endpoints looking at stent thrombosis, for example, important thrombotic events, those were actually reduced. So where does that take us with this trial? This took 10,000 patients, randomized them to either Cangrelor, then followed with clopidogrel. The other arm got clopidogrel either 300 or 600 milligrams. Now it's important to note that there wasn't a long period of time for pretreatment. So one might argue that clopidogrel didn't have time to reach therapeutic levels. Also, prasugrel and ticagrelor were not used in this study. These are important things to think about as we talk about the results.
Okay, so let's go to the results quickly. Tell me what happened to Cangrelor here.
In this case, Cangrelor reduced the primary endpoint, that was death, MI, ischemia-driven revasc, and stent thrombosis. And importantly, there was a reduction in stent thrombosis. Now, there was no significant increase in bleeding, but there was numerically increases in bleeding, and I think we always have to consider that with these agents.
But that's not a surprise, is it? I mean, Cangrelor is a potent antiplatelet agent, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And as I say, not significant increases, but I think it's worth thinking about. Now, where does this fit in with the other prior trials? I'm interested in the fact that there was a reduction in stent thrombosis in the other ones, and so I think this is following up on the pathobiology.
Okay, so I'm the practicing doc here, and I have a patient that's had an infarct. And going to PCI, what do? What do you take away from this? What new comes out of this? Does everybody else now get thrown out? We all get Cangrelor?
Well, certainly in patients where we're worried about them maybe going on to CABG. Take someone with diabetes, for example. That's going to be a patient that may very well benefit from these intravenous agents. Other patients, prior disease, where you know that they have a certain amount of disease going in. And then take patients that come in with STEMIs who are not in a position to swallow the oral meds. Those patients are going to be particularly relevant for this kind of trial.
You know, it seems to me as a practicing interventional cardiologist, one of the issues I have is I get the patient at the cath lab, and all of a sudden it's been preloaded with clopidogrel, and I say, oh, this is clearly a surgical patient. I shouldn't even touch it. Cangrelor would be a better deal. So should we give Cangrelor at the front end?
Well, that's a great question. Should it be started up front in the ED? It was not tested in that population, and I'm not sure if the emergency room setting is the best place to be making that kind of decision.
I would agree on that one. So, last question. 2 trials negative, 1 trial positive. What's your take on all this as you put it all together? The science is good and this third one better?
I think the science is good, the trial was well run, the pathobiology makes sense to me, and I think there could be a life here for Cangrelor.
So 2 to 1 against, you're still for the 1, or 2 against 1 for, you're still for the 1 for?
I think it was a great trial.
I love it. So come back, there's lots more science coming, and we'll be covering it all here at ACC.13.